Scene Daddy Interviews.
Welcome everyone to Scene Daddy Interviews. My name is Ian and I am very excited because we have a returning friend of the show over the phone right now. We have Joe Taylor of Versus. Joe, man, how are you doing tonight?
We're living, baby. We're living.
There you go. I like that. Is that your new mantra or motto?
Yeah, I had to get off of the whole, trying to save everybody. But it does quite a bit to your own psyche, you know?
I would imagine so. I think I go through it a little bit, but I think in your life you've had a lot more of that, especially when we've talked before. We've gone into a lot of things that you've had to deal with in your life. So how is that kind of transition of trying to pull back from trying to be everyone's savior?
It's hard in some moments because you want, your natural. I mean, the reason why I did that stuff is because it feels natural to me as a human to
Right.
Try to help people or, be there for people. But I catch myself every once in a while, kind of almost trying to fall back into that same thing. But then you have to put a little, I don't know, you got to get a little hardened about it, I guess, and kind of realize you can only do so much and you can be there for people, but you can't really help people like that. And, it's just, you got to kind of take care of yourself. If you're not healthy as a person, then you're not going to help anybody else.
Right. It's kind of like when you take a first aid class or a CPR class, the first thing they say is, sure, you can help someone who needs help, but make sure that the situation is safe for yourself, because if you're going to get hurt in the process, then there's really no point because you're both going to end up lost.
Exactly. My therapist said it the best.
Mhm.
You know how when you're on an airplane,
Yeah.
and they're giving you the whole spiel about how to use your seatbelts and the mask,
Right.
and how they always tell you please put your mask on before attempting to help others. It's a perfect analogy for that, because it's just it's so true. If you're gasping for air, you can't really help someone efficiently put a mask on their face and help them out. So it's just that right there, when she said that, it's something so small, but it just kind of hit home. You're just yeah, that's super true. And so I just kind of stepped back for I did solo stuff for the last couple year and a half, but you just kind of got to reorganize your life. I don't live in the middle of Seattle anymore. I moved up north. I live on a dog farm.
Nice.
I raise so I have 6 or 7 German Shepherds that are always with
so
me
awesome.
at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's usually 8 or 9 puppies around that yeah. So it's crazy, and I'm buying a dog kennel.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. So it's just so I needed something to do other than I just needed something different to do.
Right.
For a little bit.
The amount of changes, because like I mentioned before, with Ian Hates Music, Ian Hates Conversations, I had you on right before The Cardinal came out in 2017. And then in 2018, we talked about, personal things in your life, as well as doing solo material with Joe Taylor Must Die. And then now you're coming back and there's so much that's changed in your life. That's got to be pretty jarring. What was that final straw to make you, take such a big leap?
Well, honestly, it was weird because when we talked last year, I had recently just got out of a psychiatric hospital, dealing with shit.
Right.
And so I got out of there, and I just thought that the healing spectacle was to be, get back on the horse. And so then, under my solo project, I did that US Ryan Cabrera tour.
Right.
And Benny, you've talked to Benny.
From
He
Avoid.
sings in a band called Avoid.
Mm-hmm.
And he's my tour manager. I don't know how long he'll be to be my tour manager nowadays, now that he's such his own little big boy.
Oh yeah.
But but yeah, he'll tell you too, I just wasn't ready for that tour mentally at all. It was a train wreck.
Okay.
Yeah.
what specifically made it a train wreck? Was it just, were you putting on good shows and everything was working, but behind the scenes there was issues? Or was it
Yes,
just...
exactly.
Okay,
Exactly
gotcha.
that. Everything to the average person would have seemed fine, but
Ah,
like you gotta think, I went from like so when I got out of the hospital, they had me on like at that point like 14 different psych meds.
wow.
So and then so naturally like and and that's the first like big solo tour that I ever did, and it's just like naturally, all right, you're back in the swing of things, and but you're on all these meds now, and then you're like normally, okay, well I got a few hours to burn. I'll kick in the green room and have some drinks.
Right.
And you can't do that shit like that anymore. Like it doesn't. You got to completely change how you do shit. There is no like going to have drinks and stuff like that because you start spiraling.
Right.
Like
Right.
and it becomes a fucking train wreck by the end of the night.
Oh,
And yeah, so those a couple nights of that Ryan Cabrera tour, or Benny, you looked at me, it's like, man, come on, we just gotta get through this one. You know what I'm saying?
right.
It's like get through it. Let's get through it. We'll get out of here and get to the hotel. Everything will be great. So yeah, I wasn't ready for it for sure.
I see. Okay. So then you come back and look, we all know, I think people that know Benny from Avoid, he's a great guy. He sounds like one of the best guys to be, in your corner for something like that. So that is very cool that you guys were able to help each other out on that. So then after that is done, what do you do next?
Okay, yeah. So when I get back from that tour, I realize like how not ready I am that because I have shit that I needed to deal with. Like I'm still living like in the house I inherited it from my stepdad,
Right.
the one who committed suicide. So that was just like a daunting, just black mist of bad vibes all in that house, and I was still there, and like I wasn't doing anything to change what was going on around me. I was just more focused on just moving forward and like acting like shit was the same when
Ah,
it wasn't. And so when I literally woke up one morning and was just like I gotta change something. Something has to give. Like, and so I did a series of my normal therapy, talked to my psych doctor, psychiatrist, and eventually I got a service dog,
ah,
but like a real one, like a German import service dog,
wow.
a German Shepherd, and like it has changed. Like I was, it sounds so stupid, but like for somebody that was in a position that I was, like literally, you've been touring since you were 17 years old. I'm almost 30 now,
Right.
and like so all those exciting things like that a lot of people think they're super dope and exciting, like they're kind of old and bland to me at this point.
Right.
And it's just like and so you're like, I just need something different, and this dog like it really started to help me rehabilitate myself as far in terms like my day-to-day actions, because he was getting me out, and then I just loved it, and so I ended up I don't know, I think I was just stoned one night and hanging out with my dog, and I talked to somebody who was like, "Hey, I know this breeder who has this like beautiful female German Shepherd import, and she's selling it. They're selling her." And I was just like, "Oh, I'll go look at this dog."
Right.
And so, so I went out, and they wanted way too much money for her.
Sure.
But like, yeah, you could tell she didn't want to be there. That she was, it was a big like show dog kennel kind of thing rented by Russians,
Ah,
and so you could tell she didn't want to be there. So I ended up just fucking it and taking her home,
wow.
and then it just started there. I was just like, okay, I just need to get a giant property, move out of the city. That way, like I can focus on music, but I can be at peace while I'm doing it, and
Right.
like just live my own life.
Wow.
And that was the goal. And I went and looked at a place 2 days later, and I walked into Brandon, who's been playing bass and verses for the last 10 years,
Hmm.
and because he was living in my house with me, and I was just like, hey dude, like moving like 3 days before, like he literally, I told him 3 days before, and he's always been like kind of just like a ride or die homie,
Sure.
and he was just like, okay, all right, like whatever. And so yeah, we moved up to basically a compound to have a completely gated off property that has like a full, already functioning boarding and everything training kennel for
Wow.
dogs. And then I have my personal side of the property where the house is. I have another little kennel. So yeah, I just have hella German shepherds around here.
That is amazing. Look, I love dogs. My dog was a German Shepherd. He was mixed with a Husky and a Lab
Yeah.
that we got at the kennel. But I always have a soft spot for German Shepherds. And that's something I've always loved about your social media. You're flipping through things, and all of a sudden, there are those beautiful German Shepherds just going crazy. And you've got tons of videos and these really cool pictures. Like that picks me up every day. So it's got to be doing
People love
wonders for you.
dogs,
Yeah,
dude. Dogs save the world.
that's true. It really is. But that is so amazing that you were able to change your entire life so quickly and then move yourself. So your feelings change, your mood gets picked up, and then you're able to literally pick up and move to a new place. How are you able to do that? Like, I wish I could do that.
Bro, like honestly, I've just always had this thing in me where I'm just like, all right, well, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Like there's nothing that's going to stop me.
Right.
And it's just like, and this is honestly more important for people like my age and like your age, like people that just aren't like, if you're fucking 23 years old, dope. Like, spend as much time on deciding what you want to do, all that stuff. Like, really just like, think about it and like play it safe and like, cool, that's fine.
Right.
But like, when you're fucking like 30 or above, bro, like, no, like if shit's not fucking working.
Yeah.
You got to change the whole program. Like, and you better change that shit faster. You're going to be stuck with that for
years.
The rest of what could be your miserable life. And like, you don't want to be one of those people. I see them all the time.
Right.
They're not happy.
No, exactly. That kind of, I mean, when people say it's very cliche, but you're in that rat race. You're just trying,
exactly.
You're trying to survive, but it's not about that little bit of happiness you get. You're just literally trying to make it day to day. And that is such a tough way to live. And a lot of people don't realize it because they're looking at it from their point of view. They're not looking at it from the outside. So people often will look around and say, oh, well, that person, man, they got to change their lives. They have issues. But they're not seeing inside that that's really the same thing that they're going through as well.
Oh, exactly.
So it's really tough. Yeah, it's got to be really, really tough. So how is it now? I mean, you still have your down days and everything, but dealing with now all the dog kennels you have, living outside of the city where you've grown up in a lot of cities. So to go now outside of the city and do this, what's an everyday like for you?
Everyday life, bro, honestly, like, okay, so it's super hard to have bad days here.
Okay.
Not gonna lie to you. Like, even as like bipolar schizo as I am, like, it's super hard because like you can just be like, wake up and you know how, not everybody can relate, but some people who struggle with depression or anxiety or being bipolar or schizophrenic, like when you wake up in the morning, you like, it's a real hard struggle to get up and to actually like, okay, well, I got 6 German Shepherds that sleep in the bed with me, like full grown. So when it's time to get up, it's time to fucking get up. Like,
That's
you don't
right.
have a choice.
Right.
Like, and my youngest fan, she'll just run up in there. She'll get to the other side of the room and just take off running and just dive bomb you right in the chest.
That's
and I'll
hilarious.
get you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't let you get caught up in your head too much. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. And that makes total sense. So then how do you now balance that whole life that you're doing now? How do you balance that with music?
Well, it's a new thing. So as far as the kennels and stuff, like I was traveling for the last month and a half. Like I was on the East Coast for a while. And I have, I hired an employee to basically like if you're going to be gone, you can't just like have somebody feed the dogs like with this many dogs. You have to hire someone to, do it.
Right.
To take care of the dogs.
Yeah.
And to, and then I had one with me. So,
because
because most of my dogs are all registered, like legitimate certified service animals. So
Wow.
it's yeah. So there's usually always one with me. I don't know if I'll do it on like a full band tour, but I mean on solo tours, I'll definitely have one with me just chilling.
Oh, wow. So yeah, so is that the plan then still? So now, I mean, we've kind of, we've tiptoed around it. We're going to get into a lot more, but it looks like Versus is back now. You have the new single Awake, through Revival Recordings. So it looks like you guys are back together. I don't know, technically, would you say you guys ever broke up? Would you say it was more just, hey, we're taking some time?
I mean, I don't even know if I honestly, bro. Like, I don't even know if it was even that. Like, there was never like a period of time that it was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna take some time. Like it was basically just like business as usual because except I took more time. And when I take
Ah,
time off, the band takes time off. Like
right.
if I'm not off, the band's on. Like it's just whether who's playing in it or not, it's just and since the beginning of, the construction of what was the foundation of this band, it's been like that. Like it's never been off. It's just been, like people in today's, the consumer today expects you to keep, just trolling out. That's not why I do music.
Right.
I'm not doing music commit to your schedules. Like I'm doing music because I have some shit to say.
Yeah.
And hopefully you relate to it. If you don't, that's fine. Maybe you like the way it sounds. Maybe you hate it. Like I don't know. But the reason I do it is, for that point is just to get some shit off my chest and maybe help some other people.
Right.
And that's about as much as I can do on the help people factor right now,
Right. I mean, in general, I love it. So when you talk about, just the band just being there and knowing that this is the way it works, what was that conversation like when you were like, hey, I'm ready to go? Did you, reach out to the band? Did the band reach out to you? How'd that all work?
Well, me and the band, we're not just like, we weren't that kind of band. It was just like, everybody was just like friends because we were in a band. Like all of us are super close. But everybody has like Brandon, has some other stuff he wants to work out and, he's just dealing with stuff and it's not the time for him to be doing that. Matt, he's like back and forth all the time. Like he'll play any show, whatever. Like, but he's doing a lot of the writing, but there really isn't like a solid like 5-man lineup of Versus anymore. It's just like a couple core members and fill-ins from other bands.
Oh, okay. So how did you find the fill-ins? Like, how did the whole...
It's easy as shit. That's the easiest fucking thing.
All right. That to me, as an outsider to it, I remember being in bands and that was one of the most difficult parts was getting people to fill in because you never know, who you could trust or who had the time to come and do something like that. So how do you guys work that out?
Well, I mean, it's hard. I mean, that's kind of a double-edged sword there. It's hard to find people if you haven't found people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like once you're you've been touring forever. Like right now, I can name like if I needed the guitars, I can name 10 guitars that were in really dope bands, and maybe those dope bands have stopped playing and they're just chilling at home.
Okay.
Like it's just like it's really not that hard.
Okay.
And it makes it more about the music at this point than it does like an image or a brand. Because Versus has never been like an image band as far as like we have posters obviously, but like we've never been like, oh, look at this poster that you should hang up in your house. Like we're not that kind of band.
Right.
Like you fuck with the music, you fuck with what we stand for, we kick it, and like it's that or nothing. Like
yeah.
like that like and I even that's the whole agreement for the releases of Versus as of right now between like me and the label. We had some talks and we got back on the same page and everybody got to kind of hit the points of what they did wrong and just got to have everybody got to get on the same page where nobody was mad at each other.
Oh,
and,
good. Okay.
And I actually approached them and I was just like, yeah, man, like I just want to put this out, but I don't want any expectations.
Okay.
Like I don't want to be told that I need to have this single and this record done by this time on this budget for this and this and this. I was just like, I want to just get it done as it gets done, and that's it.
Okay.
Like whenever it's done, y'all can have it.
Right.
Like it's yours to release whenever you want it. You just let me know what you need from me. Like it's like I've been playing this fucking game since I was like I told you, 17 when I started touring.
Right.
And playing the politics of management and label and all this shit. And it's just it's a big old it's just it's a joke.
Yeah.
And so you just gotta have your expectations need to be low. And and you just need to trust, you need to be like if you don't trust that they make the right business calls,
Mhm.
that may not be negligent on their part. It just may be a lack of experience in that arena.
Right.
But like as long as you can trust the people morally, at this point I think that's where you have to focus on. Just
Okay.
morally and just don't open yourself up to where you can be disappointed.
Right. I'm very glad that you and Revival were able to work everything out. We briefly touched on that on a previous show, so I'm glad that was able to work out. Did you have thoughts of going to a different label? Did you shop around? Or like you said, did you just reach out and say, look, I want to make this work. This is how we have to do it, though. Does this work for you?
Yeah, I didn't reach out to anybody else.
Okay.
I didn't reach out. I didn't want to play that game. I didn't want to get in around that, I was even shopping, because first of all, if I go to a different label, they're going to want me to take everything fucking 100% cloud the whole year off and not
sure.
be open to, and Revival is willing to, we had the last record and they're willing to let me just kind of kick it and release the music that, we're ready to release, and kind of just, and they were great with the release of the single. Everything was done right on time. And
yep.
At the end of the day, what else do you want,
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, I think the question will be, coming from a fan's perspective and people that want to hear more music, do you have an idea of, obviously you said, hey, we're just going to do this when we feel like it, but do you have an idea or a plan of what you think you might schedule things out as?
Yeah, it's not going to be too spread out. Like
Okay.
when I say I want to do it, when I want to do it, I want to do it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be more controlled as far as like not putting myself on deadlines. So, and I'm working with a lot of talented people to get these next singles out. Like the single we just released was kind of the effort of, our original guitarist Mac, and because he really wants to focus more on writing.
Yeah.
And like, and that's where a lot of the band is. They kind of went to different areas, and like nobody's quitting music, but they just want to go to, after a certain amount of touring, it's not glamorous.
Right.
Like, especially not in a rock band. Like I did that one acoustic tour with Ryan Cabrera, and I made more money on that tour than I made in 5 years of touring with Versus.
Wow.
Wow. Like,
oh.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody was there for the money, that's for sure.
Yeah. Wow. That's insane. I know people know a little bit of the background of how all this works nowadays, but to hear that, like I figured you were going to do well on the solo tour. Obviously, you're taking most of the money for yourself. You don't have to split that much. But even then, to say for 5 years of touring as a full band, you made more on that, that just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's freaking nuts, bro. Because like with a band, like more people, more facilities. So it's just like, you're moving a bus. You're moving, you're not just moving it, you're maintaining it, and you're maintaining everybody in the bus. And before you know it, guarantees and everything are eaten up.
Right.
And and I love it, dude. I fucking love it. And we were never one of those bands, but I love these bands out there now that I've been in their situation 1,000 times, and they're out there in a 15-passenger van floating through Vegas with someone taking the most glam fucking pictures they could take, making it look glamorous as hell, making those 12-year-old boys think they want to be in a rock band when they're older. Hell no, man. Go to college.
See, I would say not even college. Go to trade school.
Don't go to college. Actually, screw that. It's such a ripoff. Entrepreneurship is too big. Like, you just have an idea and go with it. Just do anything other than, like, obviously you're always going to need music, but it's such a hard market, man. It's really a very hard market. And unless you got into it in like MySpace days, it's going to be kind of, you're going to be one of 100 to get discovered,
Yeah. It is really, really difficult. I mean, the bands that I talk to on the show, I obviously talk to people that have really, they've made it. They've done very well for themselves in most cases. But a lot of people can put out an album that you absolutely love or an album that you would consider like album of the year, and then they're clawing by the way you're talking about. Like, it's such a huge, huge gap between the top and the middle. Like, even top and middle. I'm not even talking about bottom. Top and middle. There's a huge difference between those.
Biggest example, a band called Deseeker.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dog, that's one of the best bands I've ever fucking heard in my life.
Yeah, they're fucking great. Yeah.
And they've been crawling and scratching at the surface since I can remember, dude. Honestly, they've been around for a long time, since like one of the start of En Vogue.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
And like that's crazy, because like they're talented as shit. And that's just what, like, that right there should show kids, like, you better have something super. And this isn't me telling you not to go for your dreams, right, or like, if you love music. I'm just saying, be prepared for the reality of the situation.
Exactly.
Like, you need to make sure that, first of all, you have something unique going on that's going to draw people to your set. Out of, if you're not just playing local shows, if you're on tour, you're playing with, it's like every night playing with a show with all the best locals of your scene. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you're playing with the best locals from different scenes around the country.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what touring is. It's, you're taking the local big bands that are local somewhere else and putting them into a different market. And so you're doing that every single night. And as much as you love to hang out with those bands, if you go out there and you freaking suck, and you're playing and you're pancaked in between, 4 or 5 bands that are just killing it,
Yeah.
And I don't even have to say anything else. Like, that's just reality right there.
No, it really is. And I like that you brought up a band like Deseeker, because you're absolutely right. And they have a new album coming out very soon. The hope is that that album can launch them into something, because even though they've done, like, every record they put out has been great, but they need to catch.
Just now. Yeah, you're right. No, they're just now about to break.
Yeah,
man. Like,
I think this next album, this one that I think it comes out in, I want to say October. It's either the end of September or
they released a single from it so far.
Yeah, a couple.
I think. Yeah, and we were listening to that in the car the other day, and it's so good.
Really, really good. They're also very good live, which is obviously very important as well. So
yes.
A band like that's going to do well. Then you look at a band like, let's say, I was thinking, like, when you said Deseeker, I'm also thinking of a band like Ice Nine Kills, who has been around since 2002. So they're coming up on 20 years, but now is their breakout.
Those are my boys.
Yeah, this is their breakout right now. And
oh yeah, no, they're doing great.
They have that, and one of the reasons why they're doing great is they have that niche audience. They have that difference that you were talking about, where they've really latched onto that kind of horror genre, kind of thing that they're working with. They've done a great job with doing that. So yeah, it is really interesting, because they've put out great album after great album for years and years and years, but they were just, I talk about them because they're a local Massachusetts band. So I grew up listening
It's just funny. It's funny you mentioned them, because this opinion that I have, a lot of it comes from one-on-one conversation with Spencer. Because I don't know how much you know about the background of, like, us and Ice Nine Kills, but Ice Nine Kills are like the band that, like, gave me, like, they put us on, honestly. They're who got us on the Outer Loop
right
at the beginning, and really got things rolling. And so, yeah, like, that's how Spencer operates. He's like, he's a very, like, he's very artistic, but he's a business dude. Like,
oh yeah,
like, he knows exactly how he needs to work it and what he needs to work it, and then the writing also. That's the whole, like, you obviously have to have that, and that's just for the last, the whole existence of the band. That musical writing has been Jay Dee from Ice Nine, and that's one of my best friends. He's actually he'll be writing the next single that you hear from Versus.
Oh, very cool. All right, well, that got everyone
with a bunch
excited.
of writers.
Oh, okay, all right. So now I'm sure that's really fun for you as, like, a collaborative effort, but why go into that now? Like, what was that starting point like?
Because you have to understand your limit as a musician, like, as a creator.
Okay.
And even when you think that's at a pinnacle level, and that's cool, and that you've discovered your sound, like, there's so many other people that can add to that.
Right.
And see your band from a completely different angle and see exactly what you're going for. Like, especially like someone like Jay Dee, who's been literally my best friend, like one of my best friends since we toured together on the Not Your American Idols tour. It was like in 2009 or 2010 with it
Right.
was Ice Nine Kills, Capture the Crown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a minute ago, bro.
Yeah.
Palisades, like
Oh
it
yeah.
was a stacked lineup,
Yeah,
and
for
it was
sure.
for All Those Sleepings, one of their last big tours.
Yes, right.
So yeah, so JD's seen the band grow. Like he hears everything from demo to release on every record, and so he knows the vibe of the band, and so it's gonna work out really well.
Very cool. So then let's go back now. Obviously, we've gone off on a little bit of a tangent, but let's go back to Awake then. How did you write that one? And how did you know that that was what you wanted to put out as the very first, brand new Versus single?
Because I wanted to go back to the roots of Versus and
Mhm.
really get back to we released a record like 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
That I felt like was us at our most raw sound, and it was the record, The Black.
Yeah.
It was an EP.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and even when I sent Awake to the label, they were just like, "Man, this is like The Black. Like this is what we meant. Like we missed this about about you guys. This is why we signed you. Like
okay.
and just getting back to the roots of what the band was good at. That kind of niche thing. Like we were with the Cardinal. We started veering a lot of the ways towards what the market was demanding, which was more more of a clean vocal on the choruses and
a little like new metal ish.
Exactly. And now we're just gonna get back to those roots of just hard melody, just raw melody and just scream melody.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm a big fan of that. I really am. Well, that was one of the things that drew me to the band in the first place. I think I told you this a long time ago, obviously, but I'm a huge fan of your screams. And by the way, let me ask you, are you one of the people that hates to hear unclean vocals or screams? Like, how do you fall in that category?
Oh, it depends, man. Like, I heard three bands in the car today that I just want to like rip my freaking ears out because it's just like there's like actual screaming, and there's just like this really weird thing that a lot of big bands like do that a lot of kids don't see or know or understand the concept of it, but it's just this like quiet growl that they're doing into a loud microphone.
Yes.
And I'm just like, what the hell is this shit? Like you're little Nas X in me right now. Do you see that shit on his performance on MTV?
No,
He
I
did
didn't.
straight up Britney Spears that whole thing, bro. He was just lip syncing the whole time.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, it was bad. Like I can't do that. Like
Right.
Like you're in a metal band and you're gonna claim you're screaming that this is your scream vocals or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I love this because Benny hates when we call it clean vocals or harsh vocals.
Right.
But yeah, like if you better not to do it.
Right. Right. Exactly. Well, that actually leads into another question. So from going from the Black to the Cardinal and then doing your solo work, even in your solo work, you had some screams in there as well. How did you keep your voice ready to do that on a regular basis? So now that you amp up to do Awake, was there anything you had to do to take care of your voice and make sure you could still pull off that raw sound?
Yeah, Jameson. I'll be honest with you,
Perfect.
man. Like no person that's aspiring to be a vocalist should like listen to me and like be like, okay, now this I need to do what he's doing because that'll be the right way and it'll be healthy and it'll be great. Hell no, dude. Like the reason I play music and do music is because I like it. I like the rawness of it.
Right.
So the way I yell and the way I scream, because it's not even screaming, is yelling.
Sure.
Like I'm pitch yelling most of the time.
Yeah. Sure.
So
yeah.
It's terrible for you.
That's what I was. That's what I was asking. Like, it seems like your voice would be extremely shredded, like every single night.
Yeah, every single night. And then it's hard. It's only hard for the first like 3 or 4 shows on a tour.
Hmm.
And then after that, you already blown your shit out to where you can basically just whisper and it sounds like a scream. So
Wow.
it's just like, yeah, it's just, it kind of works out. No, absolutely. How I do it is completely unhealthy. Like, you shouldn't do it. Like I said, go to trade school. Uh, but like at the same time, that's my sound.
Right.
That's the uniqueness of my voice, is that I am willing to blow my shit out every night to capture a particular sound,
Yeah.
and to get a particular, vibe, because I can't, if the energy is not there,
Hmm.
then I'm not there. And so the only way to get the energy there is to actually portray it as it should be portrayed, and that's fucking yelling it to the top of my lungs.
Wow. So wait, have you ever thought about, now look, there's stuff I think people who listen to verses, they hear that in your voice, they hear the passion, they hear the rawness. It's that great, like you said, it's pitch yelling to pitch screaming. It's that high, harsh scream that, was really, really prevalent during whenever you want to call the screamo period. And that's one of my favorite types of screaming. So have you ever thought, though, of going to someone like a Melissa Cross or something like that to try and...
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I've emailed back and forth with Melissa,
Yeah.
and I really want to get down there and like do it in person and stuff like that. I'm sure she'd have a lot of great insight.
Yeah.
But like, I am so terrible at listening to people. Like, I'm so bad. Like, I have authority issues. Like, I can't work for anybody, man.
I can
Like,
tell.
I can't. Like, I just like, and the thing is somebody can be telling me something and I know it's the godforsaken truth, man.
Mhm.
And like, I need to do what they're telling me. And then I just won't. And I don't know why, but I just won't.
I can't help but laugh. I just can't.
It's know yourself.
Yes.
The key to winning at life is just owning yourself and understanding who you are as a human being.
Right.
And then things will get a lot easier from that point on.
No, I can't wait till you've got your compound. I mean, you've already mentioned it. You've got your compound, you've got your kennels, and then somehow you're just so self-sustaining that you don't have to, like, you're living off the land, you're feeding your dogs, and you don't need anyone else whatsoever in life. That's how I picture you. No authority, just like the hugest libertarian possible, like just living on your own property.
I live like a libertarian, but I'm from the South, and my ideals are all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And like, I'm a petri dish of everything that like shouldn't be in the same cup. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, it's funny because like, I literally, I don't leave my property often. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, like, maybe once or twice a week to go to the store and get my supplies,
Right.
everything I need. But Brandon works at a weed shop, so I don't have to go do that.
There you go.
And yeah, so it's just, I get all my goodies whenever he gets home from work, and it's then we can grow our own here too. And it's just,
Wow.
it's yeah, I don't have to leave. I have weed, I have food, I have my dogs, I have a good income, and it's just, what's the point? I'm basically living a retirement life at this
Yeah.
point. Yes.
Well, there's one thing that's missing. Well, at least I would say there's maybe one thing that's missing. I'm assuming that relationship that we talked about the last time, did that not work out?
Woo-hoo! There's the good there's the golden part of my life right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it did and it didn't. We were gonna get married and all that stuff,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then and just like, my life follows me around with a lot of weird things that happen all the time. So, a combination of those weird things and just like, with her, I literally picked my opposite.
Ah.
Because I'm so bad at relationships, man. I'm just so bad. And I
Hey,
just
I hear
figured
you.
that maybe I should just shoot the gap and go the opposite way this time.
Sure.
And so I dated like a Christian preschool teacher.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And she's great. She's, one of my best friends.
Oh, good.
But there's just such a, life happens, man, and you have to assess those things. I can't even honestly tell you where that situation is. Like,
Oh,
it's
wow.
kind of where
Okay.
both of us want it to be. Nobody really wants to, like, we just kick it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. There's no fallout of it. It's just it's a lot of shit, and I'm crazy, so like. kudos to her. It's definitely not her fault.
I love how honest you are because it just makes me laugh. As soon as I hear just the bluntness of what you're saying, it always elicits that laughter out of me. So I just
Oh, I looked at her in her face when I first met her and told her I'm nuts. Like, so like, you can play this how you want to,
right.
and I'll love you. That's a good. That's a given. But
Yeah.
you know, it's I'm crazy.
Well, I say even with that in there, it still sounds like you're living one of the best lives that I can say from anyone I've talked to, and I've been doing this show for, what is it, 5-6 years? I mean, not this show, but you know, podcasts in general, talking to some of the biggest bands out there, and I'm pretty sure you are living the best possible life, like better than anyone that I've talked to.
Oh, I talked to like, because you know, over the years you start to become friends with, you know, those bands you grew up listening to. You know, you meet them on tour. You know, you play a show here and there with them, and it's cool.
Yeah.
And then you talk to them, and they're just like, you know, they're like, so what do you do when you're at home? And you tell them this shit, and they're just like, man, I work at Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck. Like, no, like, why are you doing that?
Right.
Like, even if you have to minimalize your life,
yeah,
don't stop doing that. Like, that you're working for someone else at that point. You're feeding someone else's pockets. You're making minimum wage more than likely, unless you're a good old manager of Jimmy John's, in which, you know, maybe you're making $1 more.
Maybe.
And it's just, yeah, man, like I can't live my life like that. I've seen too much shit. I've been through too much stuff.
Yeah.
And for me to like, it would be the biggest insult to the people that I've lost and the things that I've personally had to deal with, to actually like live those experiences and still decide I'm going to walk in a straight line,
right?
And just, you know, what's comfortable,
right?
And not take any risk, not do anything. Like, yeah, I took a whole year. I've been off for the whole last year and a half, other than that Ryan Cabrera tour, which was like almost a year and a half ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I haven't done shit, man.
That's amazing.
I got in a new house, like.
Dogs?
The new property.
Yeah,
all the dogs. Like, I haven't done anything. I haven't left. I've just been hanging out with puppies. And like, Awake, honestly, man, that song was done 7 months ago.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not the label's fault at all.
No.
Like it could have been emailed 7 months ago. And it was funny because Erin from Revival, she recently moved out here.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got out here, Matt, you know, our Versus guitarist, he had a 4th of July party, and one of those rare occasions I left my house, like I went out there. I literally got a standing ovation when I got there. It was great. Because everybody knows I don't leave my house. Period.
Exactly.
And yeah, Erin came up to me when she got there. She was just like, "Yes, Sean asked me if you were gonna send them a single, or if you're just gonna play with dogs for the rest of your life." And so I was like, "I'll send it.
Yeah.
I'm sending it. Don't worry.
I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
Yeah, I'll get to it."
That is hilarious. I don't know. Do you watch Rick and Morty at all?
Yeah, I watch Rick and Morty.
That would remind me, if you had gone, we'll stick with Jimmy John's. If you had gone to work at a Jimmy John's instead of what you're doing right now, I imagine it as, remember the video game or the virtual reality game that they played at, I think it's Blitz and Chips?
Yeah.
What is the name of the game, though? It's just a name of a person. It's like Bob or something?
Yeah. It was something weird.
It's when Morty goes through that game, he goes back to the carpet store after having the heart attack instead of going to do something else.
Yeah.
And Rick is all over him. He's like, "You went back to the carpet store?" Like, that is right there. I could never imagine you doing that.
No, hell no. Hell no. It's just not going to happen. I'm like the most, on top of like one of the most, like, I'm the only person I really know that is just that fuck it kind of person.
Right.
Sorry. So much, just a bunch of weed pollen.
Weed and dog hair.
Yeah, just like weed pollen. Like I'm in, like I have another like a 4-bay garage.
Yeah.
On the other side of my driveway, and then so I get better service out here. So I came out here, but it's also where we like separate and like press weed and stuff to make extract for ourselves, and it just gets so much dust, like weed dust, and it just drives my allergies nuts, man. But yeah, it's a lot of my friends are just like, we don't, and they end up being like this because of me, and they kind of piggyback off of it, and it's
Ah,
great. And that's like what I want is like more people just to be like, screw it, like take some chances and not really just make sure you're having fun,
right.
that you're enjoying your life because you only get one of them.
I
Like,
know, man. It's
I
fucking
mean,
tough.
you can believe in gods if you want. That's fine. If that gets you through, that's cool. But you get one shot. You're not going to be hanging out on the clouds when you're done. Like, you're going to be in the dirt, and
I agree.
you might as well hang out as hard as you can while you're here.
I mean, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I started doing this in the first place was I'm not in a position, unfortunately, because I was one of the idiots who went to college and then did engineering, and I'm still paying off student loans. So I
Oh,
don't have,
fuck.
yeah, I don't have the option of saying fuck it, unfortunately. So I'm working, crazy engineering job for 12 plus hours a day or so. But I would love to be able to say like fuck it, but at least with this outlet, I kind of am saying fuck it. It's my way of doing art and getting to hear the people, like the people's music that I love, talk about their lives, which is something that I enjoy.
And the way social media is now, like the outreach on this shit, if it gets where you can actually like, you can do it too. Like, I know you as a personality, you can absolutely make it happen. But there's so much fucking money in it, dude. Like YouTube, podcasts, everything. Like, as long if you're once you get into that pool of people, like all right, like this is a dude in the dope band. He knows four other people in dope bands. He'll tell them that you're cool, and then you'll do them, have them on a podcast.
Right.
Just snowballs from there, and you start making money, bro. Like, I
Well,
got one of my best friends is in LA, and just YouTube
yeah.
guitar tutorials.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, that's all he does.
Yep.
It's YouTube guitar tutorials, and he's freaking paying his rent with it. Like, in LA, like, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Well, I don't know. I did something wrong somewhere. I pissed someone off somewhere that I don't know about. But since I've been doing this, I was the first person doing this, and I am getting no money.
It'll come. It'll come.
We'll
It'll come.
see.
It's
Well,
just one of those things.
the thing about it, which
One of
is
those.
nice, I don't do it for money, and I think that's the same. I think that's the same philosophy that you have.
But that's why you'll make money.
We'll see. We'll see.
You'll do it.
I might need your help for that then.
Yeah, I got you. Bro. I'm the king. I'm the king at resurfacing and making shit work. That's for sure.
That is true. That is true because that single is fucking great. So
And then
I will say that for
just
sure.
just be creative with how you live your life, man.
That's true. No, it's good to tell people that. It really is because we don't need the status quo.
No.
We don't need people just following in the lines all the time.
Yeah, we have 6 billion people that are the status quo. We don't need any more.
Exactly. So let me change this around because we're on the same page with that for sure. But let me go back to something you said about just like crazy shit happening in your life because didn't you just survive like a terrible car crash as well?
Yeah, it was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, but me surviving a car crash in my life is like, it was like, oh, this is just another thing.
Right.
Yeah, it was just I was stopped and just hanging out. And at this point I wasn't in Seattle. Me and my dog had driven across the country to North Carolina because my mom was starting to do some treatments for a tumor she has.
Oh wow.
And so I was going down there for a month and a half to like take her back and forth to some doctor's appointments. And it was near the end, like the last week of the trip. Luckily, I left my dog at the house, and I went to go get some food. I was stopped at a little stop, waiting to turn into the parking lot. This chick was coming down the street, like at 60, 65 miles an hour, and like she was on her phone, wasn't paying attention.
Oh.
I saw her coming too. So
oh no.
Yeah, it was like one of those 3, 2, 1 brace for impact kind of things, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, look, as we've talked about, I mean, the first time we spoke, you had pneumonia. So right there, that was crazy enough at that time to talk. You were on a major tour, you had pneumonia. The second time, you went into how you had tried to commit suicide, and then you had gone to the psychiatric ward. We had talked about all that. Now, when you're there and you've got a car barreling down on you, and you said you had that time to look and see it, do you remember what was going through your mind at that time?
Absolutely nothing. Like, I was like, it's just, I'm at this point in my life, man, where I'm just like, most things that happen, I'm just like chuckling at, and it can be terrible. But like, like I literally, the thought that came through my head was like, here we go, like, like just that thing, and she nailed me, and it hurt, but at the end of the day, I was going to pick up a steak and cheese sandwich, and we were waiting for the cops, so I still went in there and got my steak and cheese sandwich while we were
Damn
waiting for the
straight.
cops to get there.
That's
And
right.
then me and that girl who almost killed me ate steak and cheeses on the back of her totaled car, and yeah, I wasn't mad at her. Like, I don't know, that wasn't gonna help any of the situation.
No, I
So
guess not. But
I hate when people do that. Like, I get it. Like you could have died. That's great. Like, that's all fine and well. It's a valid argument. But
yeah,
like, it's over and done. Unless the person just slapped drunk. Like,
yeah,
if they're just like they just made like a stupid ass human error judgment call, and then they almost killed you. Like, that sucks. But like, move on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get like. I don't get it. Like, people just be getting mad as hell. Like, it's just it. Like,
yeah.
it's over. It's done. Like, eat a steak and cheese sandwich,
That's
go to
right.
the hospital, and be over it.
Was that the greatest steak and cheese sandwich that you've ever had, though?
Oh no, absolutely. I was making a return visit because I had already previously hit that spot, and
Ah,
I had already realized that it was the best steak and cheese in the area. So we were on a return visit, which while I was so gung ho on getting back in there and getting my sandwich,
right.
regardless, I didn't want to get hauled off in the ambulance without my sandwich. Like, I needed that.
Yes, that's right. Well, I'm glad you had your priorities straight.
Yeah, for sure. I had them straight, extremely straight.
Look, I'm very glad that for some reason you did not take the dog with you, because that would have been crazy.
Oh, and then I would have killed her.
See that? Yeah. See, that's what I mean. That's when you hold. If it's not you, if it's someone else getting hurt, that's when you have to hold it against the person.
Oh, yeah. I can't even deal with it. I can't even like watch my friends get hurt, not even emotionally.
Oh wow.
Like, yeah, I hate it. I hate it. Like, it, especially when I see like Brandon's a good example. I'm super protective over him because he's literally lived by my side for like the last 10 years. And it's whenever a little girl breaks his heart or something, I just want to burn her house to the ground. Like, and it's so bad. Like, I'm like a bad parent. Like, it's terrible. But like, no, like, me, whatever. Like, I guess that has a lot to do with this. I don't know. I'm trying to learn how to love myself more and more, but I don't I don't have that I'm owed life and all that stuff. I don't really have that. If something's happened, I'm just kind of like, well, here we go.
Right.
This is how this is going to play out, and that's it.
Well, the way I look at it, it's like when you took care of Benny by allowing him to drink your urine on the tour bus.
Yes, exactly. But that was for his own health.
That was exactly
just like a flu shot. When they give you a flu shot, how it kind of gives you the flu to help your body,
yeah,
kind of get. I was just going ahead and giving him anything that Tor could offer him.
That's right.
Biologically,
life lessons,
and just exactly. And he'll never drink my fucking Gatorade again.
Exactly. Yeah, that is the best lesson you can possibly learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if we're at the strip club and we were just in that bus and there's a bunch of random Gatorades sitting around, you already don't want to trust that group of people. Like,
that's a good point. Yes. I think he might have left out that you guys had gone to a strip club.
Oh yeah, we actually went to the worst rated strip club in the city.
Fuck yeah. That's gotta be awesome. Yeah.
Oh, it was fucking wonderful. It was wonderful.
Well, see,
it was wonderful.
If he had left that in the story or put that in the story, then I definitely would have been like, well, you fucked up, man.
Yeah.
You have to, come on. You got to think more than that.
He was one of the youngest people on the tour too. Yeah. I won't really say who went to the strip club because I'm pretty sure most of them were probably married.
Oh,
yeah. we everybody got to go except for him.
Yeah.
So.
Look, you might tell a lot of stories and be very blunt about yourself, but there's no way that you're a narc. So, and
no,
I respect that.
I'm no rat. I'm no rat. That's for sure.
That's right. No, I certainly respect that.
Oh man, yeah, that's life right there.
That's right. All right, Joe. I am still laughing over here, but I'm looking at the time, and I think it's about time to end for now. Obviously, you're going to come back on the show very soon, and we're going to do this all over again. And I know you have tons and tons of stories that everyone will love to hear, as well as myself. I've been laughing most of this episode, so you know it's a good fucking episode. So, obviously, the new single, Awake, is out right now on all streaming services. We will have links in the description to help with that. It's out on Revival Recordings. We talked a little bit about how you're going to kind of plan this out, but for right now, for everyone listening, how's the best way for people to support you? Is there anything you can give for hints of when new stuff will come out? And then, like I said, what's the best way for people to support you right now?
The best way to support me is to just share music. Just be a fan. You don't have to go buy anything. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm probably going to be giving most of the stuff away from the last record cycle.
Oh wow!
Here pretty soon, anyway. So, yeah. So that's what we'll do. Yeah. We'll send you out a few shirts that you can give away on your channel.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna do some stuff. But yeah, we'll have some more music out in the next couple of months. That's for sure.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, once again, before we wrap this up, I gotta say, it is always a pleasure talking to you, no matter what, like even the craziness that we've been through with these shows. This is probably, by the way, this is the clearest that your voice has ever sounded.
I'm not dying of anything.
No,
that's great.
It does seem like you're in so much of a better place, and that's awesome to hear. So, Joe, man, thank you so much. I can't wait till we have you on again, and we can just shoot the shit like this, because this is always so much fun.
Yeah, dude, we'll make it happen super soon.
You've been listening to Scene Daddy Interviews.
Thank you all for listening to Scene Daddy Interviews. Make sure you support the artists we featured by checking out the summary of the episode. Also, for all your scene news, reviews, and memes, make sure to follow Scene Daddy and Ian Hates on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe and rate Scene Daddy Interviews on your favorite podcast listening app for more great artist interviews in the future. Stay scene.